Hello YouTube, this is my first video I'm making. My name is Derek and I started learning Spanish about 2 months ago. I'm using the website Dreaming Spanish mostly, along with a few other things which I'll talk about in a second. But I wanted to make this channel to kind of just document my progress. Honestly, it's mostly for me to look back on. I'm sure there'll be times when my motivation will be real low and I'm going to be feeling down, so I thought it'd be kind of cool just to have, something where I can look back and see my progress and be like, oh, I've actually, come a long way. So I'm sitting at about 75 hours right now. So far I feel really good about Dreaming Spanish. I've been doing an hour a day. I'm recently bumped that up to try to do an hour and a half a day, and my hope is that as I go farther along and I kind of build my endurance a little bit, that I'll be able to up my minutes per day, into the 2 to 3 hour range. For right now, I'm at an hour and a half a day for my goal, and I'm eating it pretty consistently, always at least an hour a day. My motivations for learning Spanish, first off, I live in Phoenix, Arizona, and there's a large Hispanic population here. I work at a gas station, and many of my customers speak Spanish. Some of them only speak Spanish. I hear it spoken around me every day, and it's something I've always wanted to do. I've made some half-hearted attempts in the past, that never really stuck with it. I feel good about the progress I've made so far. I'm at 75 hours. I'm at watching beginner level videos around like 35, 36 difficulty level. I feel like I can understand most of them pretty well. I think my comprehension is probably in about where it needs to be. I don't know, maybe like 80% on some, a little less or a little more on others. But it feels like I can, follow the gist of all the videos. It feels like I'm picking up words and I can understand a good chunk of those. Not everything though. I'm watching videos and sometimes, there's whole sentences still that just kind of go over my head. And, I noticed a lot of the little small kind of words that are used, actually pretty common, are ones that give me a lot of trouble, like the word say. This word seems like it has multiple different uses, and it's actually kind of confusing to me. So, I don't know exactly what the function of that word is, but I'm just hoping I'll watch more videos and eventually it'll come to me. But that's something I've noticed. A lot of the little grammar words and connecting words, like it says on the roadmap, are unclear to me, and that's definitely true. They are unclear to me. It's mostly nouns I'm understanding and verbs, and it's enough to kind of figure out what's going on, but it's like as a full sentence, I can't really understand every single word in the sentence. So I'm not only using Dreaming Spanish. The idea of having to wait over a year to even start speaking I don't really like that. I understand it, and I give props to people that have the patience to wait a long period of time before they start speaking. But I want to speak. There's people around me speaking, people, my coworkers, my customers, all these people around me are using Spanish and speaking Spanish, and I don't want to just kind of not try to speak, So I am getting lessons also on Italki, in addition to doing the Dreaming Spanish. I've only been doing this for a few weeks, but I really like it. I found a guy who he's a big advocate of comprehensible input. He's familiar with the Dreaming Spanish website. He kind of uses a natural approach method to teaching. We're not doing grammar drills. We're not doing here's a list of conjugation tables for you to memorize. Nothing like that. It's a lot of storytelling. We'll tell a basic story and he'll have me try to add on to it, stuff like that. And I do practice speaking in those lessons, and I like it. So I'm going to keep doing the lessons, and hopefully it won't destroy my speaking ability down the road. I don't think it will. But we'll see. It'll be interesting to see, will my long-term abilities be affected by doing it? Also, I'm reading way earlier than I'm supposed to. I'm only 75 hours in, but I downloaded LinQ, and I like that app a lot. It has a lot of like even super beginner level stuff you can read, and the reading I find is really helpful to kind of get a sense of the grammar. I also play Duolingo too, but I don't really consider that like a serious part of the study. Honestly, that's more like when I'm tired of watching videos and I kind of need a break, or it's something like fun to do in Spanish, like a fun little game that gives me a little bit more exposure to Spanish. So I don't really, I am playing Duolingo, but I don't consider that like a main component of like learning. It's mostly dreaming Spanish. 90% of what I'm doing is just comprehensible input, watching videos. Sometimes I watch stuff, way harder than I'm supposed to too. Like I have my goal of an hour and a half a day, and if I meet that goal, I'll go watch an episode of The Office in Spanish or something like that, which is obviously much less comprehensible, and I don't count it towards my input. But I don't know, sometimes I just like jumping into like headfirst into like way more difficult stuff. And honestly, I find when I do that and then I go back to like the beginner videos, they seem like a little easier. So I'm gonna keep doing that, just follow going in difficulty order and dreaming Spanish, but also throwing in just like other stuff like podcasts and stuff. I'm pretty happy with my progress. Sometimes I get a little discouraged when I look on like Reddit and I see someone that, I have 80 hours and I went to Mexico and I was able to understand most of what people were saying. Like that can be a little discouraging to me actually, because I cannot understand most of what natives say when they're talking. One, it's just way too fast. Two, they don't always like speak clearly like they do in the Dreaming Spanish videos. They're speaking like almost a little mumbly sometimes and speaking real fast, and I can't really understand it. So I'm hoping, with a couple more 100 hours that I'll get there, but sometimes I'm like wondering, am I really where I should be at? I think I am. Like the other day I had a customer come in and they asked me, ¿Dónde está hielo? And immediately I was just like, oh, he's asking where the ice is, and I didn't, it's like he said it in English. I didn't even have to really think about it, So I know it's working, because a month ago I would have had no idea what he said, and now it's like it's a very basic phrase, obviously it's just a very simple sentence, but just the fact that like I instantly knew that this guy was asking where the ice is and I didn't even have to think about it. It's like moments like those are like, okay, this is working, I'm just watching videos and I'm acquiring it, but at the same time, it's feels like it's not working sometimes, like in the moment. I could spend 2 hours watching Dreaming Spanish videos and I don't really feel like I've learned anything, it's only when I look back. It's only when like a month has gone by and then I look at where I was a month ago and then where I am now, and I realize like, okay, yeah, I can understand a lot more, but kind of in the day-to-day, the progress is so gradual, you just don't really see it, and you do have to have a little faith, I have to feel like I'm putting my trust in this, but I do see it working looking back from where I first started when I knew no Spanish to where I am now. Obviously it is working, but even still it feels a little like, is this going to keep working? This is all real basic stuff. This is, there's a lot of visual cues. Maybe that's why I'm understanding it, just because of all the drawings and pictures. When I get to 200 hours, 300 hours, 400 hours, and the material starts getting a little more difficult, am I still going to be learning things? Am I still going to be able to pick up stuff from context? I don't know. I mean, I'm sure I will be, but these are doubts that go through my head. So, we'll see how it goes. So right now I have 2 long-term goals. I think setting long-term goals is a good idea with something like this, to kind of give you something to reach toward, something to motivate you to continue on. My first long-term goal is I would like to take a trip to Mexico City and, be able to speak easily with everyone I come across there, hopefully. That's not anything in the immediate future though. It's a long-term goal. I'm thinking maybe even like 2 years from now. start thinking about planning that trip. So that's, you know, way in the future after I get much better. But that is definitely something I would like to do. And then my second goal is, I know a lot of people, especially like in the Dreaming Spanish world, aren't like super hip on like the, you know, like levels like A1, A2, B1, B2. And I don't really think those are super important either, but just as like a marker, you know, as like a goal. I'd like to take the test to be a B2 level. Say like, yes, this test says I'm a B2 level. Like, even though that might not mean, you know, that much, it's still, I think it's just like nice to have a concrete goal. So if I can get to a B2 level, I'd be satisfied. What I'm going to be doing is just continuing to watch Dreaming Spanish, an hour and a half, hopefully going up to 2 hours a day soon. I am going to continue taking lessons a couple times a week with my italki teacher. I really enjoy the lessons and I think they're helping. I'm going to be reading Lin Q, and I'm probably just going to be playing Duolingo when I've had enough of all that other stuff. So hopefully the next update will be at around 150 to 200 hours, and I will have made some progress, and we'll see how it goes. Thanks for watching.